What? Don't laugh at me. This is serious.
Ouch! You better not be laughing at me. Y'all, this mess is getting serious. Like, I'm for real scared right now. Whoo, y'all, I watched this video, man. This is CNBC. This is a specialist talking about what's going on with the coronavirus. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, it had me a bit concerned. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. I should have been got my day started. Technically, I kind of did. I went out to the grocery store, tried to go shopping for supplies, buying food, buying water. I needed that stuff anyway. So it's not like I went crazy buying that stuff, but I needed that stuff. So I went out and bought that stuff. I was looking for face masks. The little dust masks, I couldn't find those nowhere. Hand sanitizer, I can't find that nowhere either. If you look on my Instagram, I got a video clip of me at Sam's Club. There was over 500 people in that store. The parking lot was completely full. This is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Did everybody call off of work? What the heck? Them folks should have been at work. People were buying insane amount of stuff. I'm like, y'all, what? Y'all tripping. Is it that serious? I don't think it's that serious. But it might be, y'all. It might be that serious. If they saw this video, then yeah, they probably is just as concerned as I am or I was when I watched this. But we're about to watch this together, y'all, because, y'all, I really don't know what to think, man. This might really be serious, man. This might be something that we really need to be paying some attention to. I reached out to a few friends of mine, one of which just got back from Korea last night. And she's not concerned whatsoever. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, okay. You should be concerned. We don't know the severity of this, especially for us here in the States, because not everyone that is infected has been reported. So, I don't know, y'all. All I know is we're about to check this out. Let's hear this. I heard it already.
And Dr. Matt McCarthy, an infectious disease physician who is the author of Superbugs, The Race to Stop an Epidemic. Thank you both for joining us. Just to start off on a little bit different tangent, gentlemen, when did we discover penicillin? It was like in the 30s or so, wasn't it? I mean, what we've done in the past 90 years in the whole history of human existence, it's amazing where we are right now.
Yeah, discovered in 1927, became commercially available in 1944. We've had a long and successful history of diagnostics and therapeutics.
And we're better and better. Now we can sequence this thing instantaneously almost. We can do it in an automated way. Why shouldn't we be hopeful that we can come up with a therapeutic quickly?
Let me tell you the problem right now. Before I came here this morning, I was in the emergency room seeing patients. I still do not have a rapid diagnostic test available to me.
Well, that's easy to do, is it not? Is it hard to manufacture?
It is easy to do for some countries. What happened in the United States is that the CDC created a test,
up a reagent,
sent a test out to 50 states, and then said, "Oh, hold up, don't use it. Let us fix it."
How quickly
it's
can
now
we get
March.
on track now, man?
We hear that it's coming very soon, but
You hear this, y'all? And this is what concerns me, is the fact that we don't have the supplies needed to test people who may or may not have the virus, because it shows up like the common cold.
Here to tell you right now, at one of the busiest hospitals in the country, I don't have it at my fingertips. I still have to call the Department of Health. I still have to make my case plead to test people. This is not good. We know that there are 88 cases in the United States. There are going to be hundreds by middle of the week. There's going to be thousands by next week.
Y'all hear that? 88 cases already. 100 or hundreds by the end of this week. Today's Tuesday already, and he said it could potentially be in the thousands by the end of next week. Y'all, this could be something really serious. I'm not joking.
So
and this is a testing issue.
What do you do with people in the emergency room if you can't test them?
Well, we call and we try to test. We isolate them. We have an outstanding team of infection control practitioners who know how to handle this, but they're hamstrung by the fact that we don't have a diagnostic test available.
Are people getting sent home? Because I read reports of that over the weekend.
We're not sending people home. We're making sure they get what supportive care we can give. But keep in mind, we now have this in New York State, right? The person who tested positive was only the 32nd test we've done in this state.
Wow.
That is a national scandal.
Yeah.
They're testing 10,000 a day in some countries, and we can't get this off the ground. I'm a practitioner.
You hear that? That's another very important thing that you need to take account of, that person that was tested in New York that actually contracted the coronavirus was only the 30-second test that was done. I'm emphasizing this stuff because some of this stuff may go over people's head. The fact that in other countries they're doing tens of thousands of tests a day shows just how unprepared we are for the potential outbreak of this virus that could occur in the US. Y'all, this is serious. This is really serious. I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I could just kind of sleep on this thing a little bit, see if it progresses, then take the necessary precautions. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be one of the people that gets infected and then try to take the precautions, because that could be a possibility. Usually when you don't think something's going to happen to you, it increases the chances of it actually happening to you because you're unprepared.
Practitioner on the firing line, and I don't have the tools to properly care for patients today.
The other challenge is that the providers can't take proper precautions if they can't
Right.
test and
You've been
diagnose.
talking about this for weeks.
Yeah.
That this is what we need to do.
On the on the therapeutic, I think this meeting today is focused on vaccines. We need to have a vaccine strategy. I think a vaccine is a year or two away.
Right.
I think we need to think about what we're going to have in the fall to be a backstop to this. Hopefully this will start to dissipate in July and August, but it's going to probably come back in the fall. And then what next? And the only thing
That's something else too to think about. He said a vaccine could potentially be a year or two away. He says hopefully this will dissipate, as in kind of calm down by the end of August. But come fall, that flu season, that time of the year where it starts to get cold and the weather changes, so people are getting sick, it could potentially kick back up then.
that could be available in the near term as a therapeutic. If we have an antibody-based prophylaxis or a drug, because the vaccine's much longer.
Why isn't something existing in the HIV regimen that might work on a...
Well, we have an HIV drug, Kaletra, that we're studying right now. It's in a clinical trial. That information is not going to be available for a while. The message today is that we are hearing from this administration that the risk is low and that things are probably going to be okay. You don't need to change your lifestyle. That's simply not true.
Real talk. That's crazy, because I've already decided to change my lifestyle. One being, I'm not going to the gym no more. Not for a couple of months, until they can really get a better understanding of the severity because of this virus. I can work out right here. I got a whole dang on workout regimen plan that I bought months ago that I can do from home. I'm perfectly fine with doing it here. I'll probably be more effective with my workout doing it that way anyways. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Going to be thousands of cases here. We have already moved from containment to mitigation. We are trying to lessen the severity here. You are going to see widespread disruption to daily life. Do not believe the false reassurance.
So what does that mean in terms of what people should do on a daily basis?
Well, look, I think we're going to have outbreaks here in the U.S. There's no question about that. I think in parts of the country we're past the point where we can contain this. We're going to have to look towards mitigation. Washington State, California. It doesn't need to become epidemic here in the United States. We have a much more advanced healthcare system. We have better infection control procedures in hospitals. I think we have the capacity to do that. I agree. We need to start taking more aggressive steps right now to make sure that this doesn't become epidemic.
China
so we don't
had
look like
testing.
Wuhan.
China had testing. How did China was
China had
able
testing.
to possibly be on the downside of the epidemic? How did they do?
Well, and there's also something called the boomerang effect, which we may be seeing in Hubei right now, which is that places we think are clear are starting to have rates creep up. We may see things bounce back. But the key here is, do not believe the false reassurance. I'm telling you, the cases are about to surge, and only then can we make informed decisions.
Doesn't that lower the
quarantine.
Denominator on the mortality?
Absolutely. So if we're talking about mortality rate, I see numbers like 1% to 2% thrown around. I don't believe that. The modeling we're using data out of Korea. We think that's the best.
And what is that?
0.2, 0.4%.
So that's twice as bad as a seasonal
Correct.
flu.
So a very bad flu season. Keep in mind, flu kills 25 to 69,000 Americans. So a very bad flu season.
The panic that has been caused already and the economic effects are already much more than twice the mortality rate of the flu. We're at 10 times the mortality
Well,
rate of the flu.
what do you make of the Diamond Princess? Because I know that's not a typical population, but the case fatality rate.
And that's another thing too. Like, people who've been reaching out to me will say, "Oh, well, flu, this, that have been causing more people to die, and those stuff are just not being televised in the way that the coronavirus is. Yeah, but they're also not doing it in the rapid succession that the coronavirus is doing as well. And the way the coronavirus spreads is too easy, and it just looks like a common cold. Man, I can't tell you guys. I can go into crazy detail about how my day has been leading up to this moment where I'm sitting here talking to you all, and the experiences that I've had throughout the day. Oh my God, it was crazy. It's been wild, to say the least, man.
Much more than twice the mortality rate of the flu. We're at 10 times the mortality
Well,
rate of the flu.
what do you make of the Diamond Princess? Because I know that's not a typical population, but the case fatality rate there is going to be above 1% probably when that settles down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're an 80
Is that because it's an older population?
So right. So if you're an 80-year-old on a cruise ship, you're in trouble. I mean, the case fatality rate's over 10%. We're seeing for ages 1 to 9 exceedingly low.
Right.
There's a lot about this we don't.
Asymptomatic almost.
Absolutely. So
Makes
widespread
sense.
surveillance is going to start giving us information so that we can make these informed decisions about whether March Madness needs to be canceled.
Are there different levels of panic around the country? And the reason I'm asking is because I was in Detroit last week, and this is a small example, but I asked a room full of clients and investors, are you worried about coronavirus? And they unanimously said no. And I said, are you not worried because you think you're going to catch it and you'll still be okay? Or are you not worried because you don't think you're going to catch it? And they said, we're not going to catch it.
Yeah, I think this is going to, for a while, this is going to be regional. You're going to have regional outbreaks where you're going to have more focus on it in certain parts of the country. Washington State, we're probably a couple of weeks away from some significant measures in Washington State to try to mitigate spread, and Northern California as well.
Look, a couple of weeks away, it's got an
It's crazy. I was just in Washington a couple of weeks ago.
incubation period of potentially a couple of weeks. So are we kind of just always going to be behind the 8 ball on this? We're reacting to the news 2 weeks later?
Well, we have a lot of undiagnosed cases to his point right now. There's probably, low thousands of cases in this country that we now need to turn over the card on. So we're gonna have a surge in cases before we start to catch up to the actual level of spread. It's a big country, 330 million people. So even if you have several thousand cases, your risk of contracting it's still low, but that could change very quickly.
Japan has taken some pretty extreme measures like closing schools. Is that?
They're not diagnosing their cases there as aggressively as South Korea
Right.
is or Italy.
That's right. We're going to see school closures here, definitely. We're hearing that life's going to go about just like normal. That's not true. And to speak to the earlier question, I'll tell you, I live in Westchester. When I'm walking around Westchester.
Now, what's interesting, people say, yo, don't let the news scare you. The news is just trying to scare you. Well, look what's happening in Asia, in China specifically, where the outbreak originally started. For some of the people that have been reporting it out there now are missing because they're reporting the severity of the cases out there and how the news shows that it's this bad, but it's actually far worse. And these guys are sitting here telling us, you know what? We're going to be honest. We are the ones that's kind of behind the scenes working on trying to get a hold of this whole thing. And we don't know how bad it is. We're pretty sure it's worse than we know it is because we only have X amount of cases reported. And we have an even smaller amount of supplies to test people whom may or may not have this virus. So it's a possibility that this is far worse than we know. And I can see what you guys are going to be saying in the comment section. Some of you are going to have some concerns. Some of you are going to completely disregard it and think, well, it hasn't been reported here. I'm in a safe zone, this, that, and the fourth. And I know, and I get it, and I feel you on that. It was crazy. As of yesterday, I felt that I was completely clear because there had not been any reported cases of the coronavirus here in Georgia, and then 1 hour later I got news that there have been two reported cases of the virus here in Georgia. Atlanta is the hub. Atlanta has the most foot traffic via airport because we got the largest airport and busiest airport in the world. So I can only imagine what's coming in and going out each and every single day and just diluting into the metro area. So I'm gonna be concerned, y'all. Y'all can laugh at me all you want. I'm going to be concerned about this. I am going to keep my guard up.
Question, I'll tell you, I live in Westchester. When I'm walking around Westchester, I'm not really worried about coronavirus. But when I get on the 6 train, when I'm walking around Times Square, when I'm in the emergency room every single day caring for patients, I am very worried. So
Great, thanks for joining us today, man. Santoli, you've got,
Yes.
yeah.
Just because I ride the subway?
No, because you're sitting next to Matt.
Not as close as Scott is.
Yeah, not as close as
Yeah, I was going to give my Santoli. Here's my Purology.
Take it.
How many cases do you suspect you've seen? If you had enough cases, if enough testing, how many cases would you have tested?
Well, we've seen one case in New York. I bet there are hundreds. I bet there are thousands in the United States. And the longer we wait to get testing up and running, the worse this is going to be. But I'm telling you, as a practicing clinician, we're not there to
Why did I
begin
say I
testing.
thought they were shipping tests to California in bulk? I thought that was the latest.
The testing capacity by the end of this week, so we have about 100 public health labs. They'll have a capacity to do 100 tests a day. So it's at 10,000 tests a day by the end of this week. That still requires physicians like you to call the public health department in the state to order the test. So that's cumbersome. By the end of the week after that, we should have maybe as much as another 10,000 test capacity a day. So we'll be at 20,000 tests that we can run per day as we bring on the academic labs. That's going to make it a lot easier for physicians like our guests to order tests within their hospital.
Well, the
But that's not available yet.
What you want, Matt, right?
Right, so that's right. So a week or two from now is when we're going to begin getting real information. Right now, we're still largely flying blind. So if you're worried about fear and uncertainty, we're still in the thick of things.
You hear that? He said right now they're flying blind. He said it'll be another week or two before they start getting the information that's needed. Whoo, man, this is really concerning, bro. This is really, really concerning. Oh, man. I want you guys to comment down below. What's your thoughts on this? Like, do you think we're going to get control of this to the point where none of us will have to worry about it because we have some of the best medicine and best doctors in the world? Or do you think this thing may be out of our hands and is going to take over and take out? I don't know. I want y'all to comment down below. I'm still up in the air. All I know is I need to protect me and my own. But yeah, please just comment down below what's your thoughts on this. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the video is going to be down in the description box below if you haven't already. Follow your boy right here on the gram and Twitter at ArcticKicks. Till next one.